I wonder why, in a way, Sara Netanyahu, Mr. Netanyahu's wife, doesn't know the adage that loose lips uh, are responsible for lost lives. Her fewer catastrophe is utterly shocking. There's a moment rare and unforgettable when the political becomes painfully personal, and when the single offhand comment, when a single word can ignite a nation's grief. And this week the word was fewer. And the speaker was Sara Netanyahu, the wife of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And as if plucked from the pages of a tragicomedy, the First Lady of Israel leaned in at a public event, barely audible, and murmured a word that cut deeper than any speech her husband might have rehearsed. In doing so, she not only broke the hearts of the hostage families waiting in agony, but revealed, perhaps inadvertently, the limits of Israel's power, of her husband's power, to bring its people home. After so long, and after the stated aim to rescue the hostages, it's quite clear that Netanyahu has failed. And the setting was, to add further irony to this horror, a solemn meeting with Independence Day torchbearers, an occasion charged with patriotism and remembrance. And Prime Minister Netanyahu, seated before cameras and colleagues, began to list the successes of his military campaign, victories against Hezbollah, the Houthis, the Iranian proxies. It was only after some nudging by Transportation Minister Miri Regev, scribbled on his notepad, that he remembered the hostages at all. To date, he said, we have returned 196 hostages, 147 of whom are alive. There are up to 24 living, up to 24. And then Sarah says, fewer, she whispers, and the room chilled. The hostage families were horrified. The Hostages and the Missing Families Forum released a searing statement. You sowed indescribable panic in the hearts of the families, already living in agonizing uncertainty. Parents of the abducted, like Enav Zangauka, whose son Matan is believed to be among the living, demanded clarity. If the Prime Minister's wife has new information, I demand to know, was my son murdered in captivity because your husband refuses to end the war? How much information does Netanyahu actually know about the hostages? And how much information has he whispered to his wife on some sort of pillow talk? How much does she know? This wasn't just gossip. This was grief masquerading as statecraft, and it carried all the tact of a fishwife chattering at a market. And yet the deeper question lingers. How did Sara Netanyahu even know this? Is classified intelligence now breakfast table fodder in the Netanyahu household? And one could dismiss this as another Sara Netanyahu faux pas, a woman whose reputation precedes her. And she's previously sued the press for alleging she leaked security secrets, and has long been viewed by critics as an unelected figure wielding unelected power. But now, here's the evidence. This isn't a piece of palace soap opera. This is a hostage crisis. And the official Israeli position has remained 24 hostages are believed to be alive. And Sarah's whisper undermines that line, suggesting not only that the number is smaller, but that she is privy to knowledge denied to the public, to Parliament, and crucially to the families whose sons and husbands may never return. So let's be absolutely clear here. Of the original 251 hostages taken by Hamas on that dreadful October the 7th, 2023, 196 have been returned, 147 are alive. That leaves 59 unaccounted for. And of those, Israel believes only up to 24 remain alive. Now, Sara Netanyahu's careless interjection casts doubt on even that. The psychological toll on hostage families, already unbearable, has been magnified by the implication that the state knows more and is not telling them. And it was the eve of Memorial Day, no less, a time meant to honour the fallen, not casually declare the dead. What this reveals is not merely a communication blunder, but a crisis of trust. Why was the Prime Minister boasting of battlefield conquest when failing to address the hostages until prompted? Why is his wife the one relaying operational truths with the indelicate air of someone recounting a hair appointment? Maybe this is the time when Netanyahu needs to reconsider his position and go. And perhaps most damningly, therefore, why does it feel as though Netanyahu's government is more concerned with preserving itself than saving its citizens? The former Shin Bet chief, Ami Ayalon, was scathing in his verdict. Our hostages in Gaza have been abandoned by a prime minister clinging to power for his own personal gain, and it's hard to disagree. Now, what I find interesting, and of course what I would want to emphasize, is that Israelis are protesting against this prime minister. Israelis. This is heartbreak wrapped in hubris. It's a government whose war aims appear ever expanding, yet whose moral responsibility is shrinking by the day, whose moral understanding is shrinking by the day. In this moment, we must acknowledge the raw anguish of the families who are no longer waiting for information, they are waiting for truth. Sara Netanyahu's word, fewer, was not merely a misstep, it was a revelation, one that told us accidentally but unequivocally that the effort to retrieve the hostages may already be a lost cause. And that is a sentence no mother should ever have to hear from a garrulous First Lady.